Hello everyone and welcome back to Thornton Farm. So last week we were doing the harvesting in field number 13 and this does need to be baled, but as we were doing baling yesterday on A Taste of Donegal and we're going to be doing some baling at the end of this week on Knaveswell, I don't really want to do baling on Thornton Farm as well, and we can't actually anyway because we don't have enough money for a rake, which will be required to row these together and make the whole process a lot quicker. So we're going to put that on hold for a week or two. Instead, whoa, look at that plane that's coming over low. Instead, we're going to be going over to the forest and we're going to be doing some wood chipping. Now, I did this on Court Farms with a mod and it worked very well. So I'd like to do the same thing again on Thornton Farm. Then we can do the forestry at the beginning of this series and maybe come back to it again at the end of the series. And then in between, we can do our usual arable crops, that kind of thing, and the livestock as well. Yeah, that is good bit of modelling there. So over here, these are rented for an hour, so we don't really have too long. We've got the Jenz 583, which is, I think it's the modified version of the base game one. Basically, it's just got a much longer conveyor belt, which makes it a lot easier to feed the logs into there instead of them just falling out again continually. And also the log grab for the Massey Ferguson on the front here, that is also rented. Everything else we do own. Now the John Deere has got to get the trailer out of the shed again because we need this to put the wood chips into. So get that attached. And this really is a job for all of our machinery today. Every single machine we use except for the harvester is going to be incredibly useful for this job. So let's just reverse there, put this on to follow me, and we'll head over to the forest. I believe you can actually put a trailer on the Jenz hem, but as that is going to be following us, I don't think it's going to make it around the corners because some of the corners on this map are relatively tight. So it's best if we just put it on a different tractor. So off we go. We might have to open another gate here. As you can see, we're using it's the gear mod which is installed on this telehandler. It's only on this machine, but it is very good. Yeah, I think they're making it around there okay. I'm hoping I'm going the correct way to the forest. Yeah, it seems to be working okay so far. So basically, I think the forest is at the end of here. So if we keep going, we should eventually end up there. I think it's opposite the junction. So where this road meets the other one, I think that is where the forest is. So just keep going until we get there really. Also before, on Court Farms, I was using the wheel loader rather than the telehandler. So I don't know which is better really for loading the logs with. The wheel loader did work pretty well, but when I did that, a lot of people said use the telehandler. So don't know really. We did also do this on Sandy Bay, but I didn't really do it much, just for like 15 minutes I think. They're still following. Right, so here it is on the right hand side, it's in there. The entrance, I believe, is just up here. Here we go. So it's probably best if I park just here, otherwise we're going to be totally blocking that road. But it should only take a second to open the gates up. Okay, so here we are. You don't have to buy the forest, you do have to buy the field next to it. So basically we can just go for it, cut down all the trees if we want to. What I really need to do is find a decent opening, because otherwise we're not going to have enough space to cut the trees, to fell the trees, and then load them up into the chipper, and also have space for the trailer. Now looking at it, this is probably the most open area, so we might have to do it here. Oh, look at that, look at the mud. The mud mod is here. I've been looking for this for ages, and what a muddy mess it makes of the machinery. Yep, we're going to have to do it in a bog. But yeah, some forests are bogs anyway, so yes, this is really good. Looking forward to doing this. Right, so let's just take this off, follow me. I think we'll position it. Well, it needs to be positioned in a decent angle, otherwise it's going to be really hard to load it up. So maybe if we just, well, stop that tractor there. I think, well, maybe about here actually. The tractor can stay there. We will unfold it. So basically we're just going to put this out of the way so that it's not going to be blocking the way for the telehandler. Yeah, I forgot how to control it. How do you... Ah, there we go. It's better. So that can stay there. We then need to put the pipe up. The PTO is on, so that should be ready to go when we're ready. As for the tractor, the John Deere tractor here, let's just open the door. We will put this just to the left of it, I think. We might need four-wheel drive, but yeah, two-wheel drive's working okay. It's not too bad. So yeah, basically, as far as we can go without that pipe hitting the tree, it should be plenty. This tractor can stay here now, so what we'll do is we'll switch the beacons off, we'll open the door, jump out, and yeah, it's amazing how quickly the tractors get muddy with that dirt mod. So, the last thing to do now is to just basically switch this on. Yes, the jumping wheels. I think that it is a conflict between drive control and the real terrain mod. I hate to point fingers, but I think what I'm going to have to do is either remove one or the other, just to see. If it doesn't make any difference, then fair enough, it's not either of them. But there must be some kind of conflict between two mods, because I'm pretty sure it didn't do this on the base game. I can't seem to remember it doing it, so I'm not quite sure about that. But let's get the first tree felled, and we need to buy a chainsaw. So we'll go for this one. And let's just, well, we need to make a bigger clearing, I think, but we can't do it where the trees are going to fall onto the tractors. That would be ridiculous. Is that going to be enough for it to go? Nope. Never is with me. I always do it wrong. But I went the right way. I cut a good angle on it. This is the one we did, which looks like it's been done less recently than this one actually. This one looks like it's just been done. These are, I think, they're just models, so they're not actually trees which have been felled. They're just to make it look good. So technically we don't have to strip the foliage off this, it's just I do sometimes because it makes it a lot easier to see. We can now pick this up with the telehandler. Once we're kind of in position, we'll be able to go over to the chipper and begin to shred the load. So I think most of this will be done out of cab, because I do find it a lot easier. So I'll turn that off once. That's weird. Let's come on again. Yeah, look at that, the way that the machine skids in the mud. I like that a lot. We are actually stuck. So that is the way I tend to do it, because I just find it easier. It's probably a lot easier in real life actually. Some jobs on Farming Simulator do seem quite difficult. So yeah, we need decent length here. I would say, well, I don't like cutting above my head, but there we go, we'll do it here. That should fit. Now in Court Farms I was actually feeding entire trees into the chipper. No problem at all. that did work very well. But with so many other trees about here, it's going to be quite difficult to do that. But yes, if we can just sort of do it one step at a time here, we should be okay. There we go. The more trees we get down, the easier it will be. So we need to turn that chipper on. Okay, interestingly, the Massey Ferguson couldn't power it. I thought it would be able to because it's a 7718, which is quite a high model number. This one, the John Deere 7530, does have enough power for it, luckily, because that would have been a disaster. So we've got it switched on now. This should all work. We just need to try and load this into the conveyor. It's not easy, and it's also not that realistic, this, because we're obviously lifting a lot of weight above the telehandler's lifting capacity, but we're going to give it a go. Okay, so pretty much there. The good thing about this mod is it feeds them in really well. With the base game one, it just sort of eats it and then throws it out again, and it leaves lots of little bits here and there, lots of little logs lying around. This one works very well, which is what I love about it. And as you can see, it's taken the whole thing until the end and chipped it all into our trailer. So yeah, once it's all going, it takes a while to set up, but once it's all going, it does work very well. One tree is 23%. Every tree is a different size, so some will be more, some will be less, so I'm hoping this will be about 5 trees worth. The next tree I'm going to go for is this one here. I'm just trying to open up a clearing, really. Bigger than what it is now. Right, so we've gone that way, so now I'll go across this way. And technically it should be enough for it to fall. Hopefully. Very slowly. But there it goes. Right, so let's get the telehandler on this one again. We do have a few bits from the other one, but not really too much. Yep, loads of trees are in the way. Just remembering the controls because it's not too easy. This time I might try and load the whole tree, because if we keep cutting them, it can leave a lot of like spindly bits lying around, and it makes it very difficult to load them. They're much harder to pick up. So slow and steady to the wood chipper. I know this isn't realistic as such, but it is the best way of doing it, I think, in FS. So basically, when it grabs it, I just sort of sit here to support it, because if you let it go, sometimes it can backflip off the chipper. Again, that is working really well. So we probably won't do this again in this series. I tend to do this once a series because it's a good way of earning some fast income, and it's also something a bit different to usual. Like, I'm usually spraying, mowing, that kind of thing, and this week we'd have been doing baling in every single episode, which would have been really boring. So yeah, I think to diversify, this is quite a good thing to do. Seems to have taken that okay. And the trailer is currently 48% full. So yeah, it's just basically just short of 25% per tree. Although the first tree we did wasn't even whole. This is the remaining bit off it. So if we can do, I'll try and pick it up, but it's never easy. These tiny bits which are left over, it's always best not to cut them off. Yep, as you can see, that is really bad. Right, eventually, what was that? About 4 minutes, I have managed to pick this up. I hate doing the spindly bits, that's why in future we're going to have to just try and put whole trees in, which is not ideal because it looks ridiculous, but it is the most efficient way of doing it on Farming Simulator, I think. Now, there probably are some real experts at forestry, but I'm certainly not one of them, and looking at that, that's not gone well either. It might take it. Let's try that again. Maybe this time it will work. Come on, please. I don't want to pick that thing up again. I've just done it 3 times. Well, I think if we leave it, it will eventually feed itself through. There we go. Finally. It is being fed through. So we've got, what was that, about 20 minutes left? 24 minutes, so we've got to be really quick. I need to fill the trailer. We're halfway, and we rented this for an hour, so we've got to hurry up a bit. I think if we go for this tree next, that would be the best one to do. And yeah, got a bit about this angle. That one's gone straight away. Whoop. And in fact, that's landed in a very good position. Take the foliage off. And let's pick it up and try and feed this one in. It's always easier if you go on the heaviest side, because then you've got a lot more space to feed it into the machine. But it's probably best if you don't take advice from me anyway, because as you've probably gathered by now, this isn't going too well. I did actually find it easier, I have to say, with the wheel loader. Not saying that it is easier though, because everyone has their own preferences, but I think for me, it is easier. One thing's for sure, the 4-wheel drive is certainly a requirement in this forest. So I'm lined up fairly well this time. So hopefully, if we can battle through the mud, we'll be able to get this onto the conveyor. As soon as it grabs it, you've got to just lift up the grab a bit, because otherwise it starts to pull the machine into there. This one should be worth quite a bit. Should be at least 25%. Let's see what it gets to. So it took a while at the end just to sort of finish that off, but I think that was, what was it, about 21% I think it took there. So not too bad. We've got 21 minutes left, so let's go for the next tree. Looks like we're going to have to do about another 3.5 just to finish this off. And this tree here is the next one for us. And again, actually going in a really good direction there. It'll make it a lot easier to pick up. Back to the telehandler. I'll attempt to pick it up, and then we'll feed it into our chipper. Yeah, this is definitely the best position to put the chipper, because the angle which I'm coming in at through the trees, this is certainly making it the easiest for me. Again, I've got to just let that go, because otherwise it pulls the whole machine in. Surprised it isn't pulling the John Deere tractor back. It's more powerful to actually pull the telehandler towards it. Right, that's 81%. Once this has gone, we'll have to go and look for a small tree just to finish it off. And to be honest, I don't know how much money we're going to get from this trailer load, so it'd be interesting to see. That's okay on its own. So yeah, it's going to have to be a really small tree. It's 94% full. They are very similar sizes, it has to be said. Yeah, that is annoying actually. We might just have to go for this one. It's 95%. It might not even be worth doing another one. or what I could do, is just chip the longest end of this one. I'll get it into position, and we won't waste anything. Anything which doesn't chip we'll just take out again. So basically, we've got the whole tree here. I'm going to cut it off here, because I really don't think it would be worth us putting all this through. It should still be thick enough, that piece there, to pick up another time. So this should totally fill the trailer. Oh, that mud, it's so good. But it does make it very challenging. There we go, 99% and 100. It's taken it now, so good luck getting that out, but the inspector mod can sometimes misread, so it might not have been totally full, but it definitely will be now. So all we have to do is go and sell that. We also need to take everything back and wash it before the time runs out, because we're going to get charged quite a big penalty if we don't wash it and refuel, but luckily we don't have to refuel because it's all powered off the tractors. So I think what I'm going to do is just set everything up here, back on follow me, and then we'll take it back to the yard. This trailer is going to go to the sell point, which I haven't quite worked out where it is yet. We need to look at wood chips. Where is the wood chips? We've already got some in storage, so we can sell that in the future. But I think it's just biomass. Yep. Biomass heating plant, which is... I'm guessing... Yes, it's near the shop at the top, which is actually where we return all these rented vehicles to. So that does make it a lot easier. Off we go. Everyone is following. Hopefully we won't crash. And with a bit of luck we'll get a decent amount of money from this trailer load. It's taken a while to do, and it has cost us a bit in rental fees, but it wasn't too much. I think really in the end it was about £300–400 to do it, and when it's over £1,000 per tonne, that is quite a big profit really. I think we're going to have to wait for these cars, because the Massey Ferguson is taking it slow. Okay, here we go. Hopefully they make it without crashing. They shouldn't crash because they're following my lead anyway. It's just if they crash into another car when turning. Yep, so I think we're going to definitely need a pressure washer. These machines have got very muddy going to the forest. Not sure if we own one. I don't think we do. So if we can afford one, which I don't think we can, then we'll have to get one. So yeah, when next time we can afford it, which shouldn't be too long, we will buy one. But hopefully we do have one. And here we are, back at the yard. So we've got 10 minutes to quickly wash them if we can do. Just depends if we've got a pressure washer. Sometimes you do start off with a pressure washer, so there might be one. But chances are there won't be. No, there isn't one, and we can't afford it. So that is going to be quite annoying actually when it comes to taking these back, because we really do need to maximise the profits here, and we're going to be charged to have them washed instead. So, it's going to be a bit costly, but at least we won't be charged any diesel fees. I think we'll get the bad news out of the way first, so we'll return everything, and then we'll sell the wood chips and see how much we get from them. We'll leave it on a positive note. So first of all, we have got the fork, the log fork, or log grab. We'll drop that in the box and it should allow us to return it. So this is going to cost us £100 just to wash it. That is expensive. I suppose that's all labour, but it wouldn't really take long, really, would it? Anyway, hey, hang on, we've overshot. And now for the wood chipper. This, I'm really dreading the washing cost. Actually, this one, it's going to be really expensive. But at the end of all this, we'll still make a good profit, I'm sure. Because over £1,000 per tonne in that trailer. And it's okay. £100 against. It's cost us basically £200 just to return them, which could have been avoided, but the pressure washer would have cost, you know, it would have been £4,500, I think. So yeah, we could have avoided those £200 extra fees, but still, it's going to be okay at the end of all this. Let's go and sell it and have the good news. So here we are. This is going to be quite interesting to see. The money, when the money goes up that quickly, you know you're doing well. Yep, this is fantastic. Basically, we need, I think, £17,000 for the rake, the small rake. I was kind of hoping to get the middle-sized one, the medium one, because the small one for this map is a bit too small, but that was very impressive. The wood chips are definitely worth it, although it is quite time-consuming, and to some people, you could say it is quite stressful. But there we go. That is a bit of a diversifying episode there, just to break up the baling. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and we will return tomorrow for more on Thornton Farm. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.